video essay will analyse how the fashion industry embraces diversity concerning race and religion. This will break the whiteness mould of models in the industry and discover few of the models that went against the norms. The international fashion industry is a leading business well known for key players such as LVMH, H&M, Nike, Prada, Gap, Dior, Urban Outfitters and Burberry. Today the value of the global fashion industry amounts to $3,000 trillion, exactly 2% of the world's gross domestic product. Still today, unfortunately, there is a lack of diversity within the fashion industry. There are not many black designers, the runway is almost completely whitewashed, and it's surprising that some people think that blackface is stylish. Some African American and African European designers like Tracy Reese and Oliver Roosting have managed to make gains in the lucrative mainstream, while the Asian American designer explosion of Alexander Wang, Philip Lin and Peter Sun only a few years ago has been strengthened by their increasing success. Diversity is moving forward but very slowly. The fashion business, like other global industries, needs to realize the importance of diversity. To attract all of the potential markets in the world, fashion needs to be reflective in its advertisements and representations of who actually buys the brands, as African American, Latino and Asian American women have incredible buying power. It is estimated at more than $1 trillion and is expected to increase. In the 50s and early 60s on runways there was the occasional and very occasional model who wasn't white, but later African American models put American couture on the map in 1973 when they walked the runway in France in what's known as the Battle of Versailles. But by the mid-80s, with a few glorious exceptions, the catwalk had regained a distinctly milky aspect. Fashion trends change from one season to the next, and each season begins with a fashion show. Casting for shows is subject to trend, so models and standards of beauty come in waves as well. In the past 2 years, diversity has become a trend. Hopefully, it won't have one-time shot. Thanks to social media, it is possible to experience what happens during a fashion show without being physically there. Innovation and technology have been perfectly embraced while diversity is still a taboo. The popularity and rise of blogs have reversed the face of the fashion world. Bloggers from all over the world have become instant global celebrities by sharing their lives and daily styles for their followers. These people show diversity in ethnicity, sexual orientation, age and size. Because nearly everyone can create one and easily become a blogger, while the fashion world may be notoriously elite, the egalitarianism of blogs makes fashion more accessible and inclusive. On the other hand, magazines like Vogue, Harper's Bazaar and Elle are still the main ways people take in fashion. Thus, they constitute a powerful element of what people view as fashionable and beautiful. Still today, these magazines are whitewashed and hardly show diversity of age or size. In 2008, Italian Vogue launched a unique exception, an all-black issue featuring notable black supermodels like Naomi Campbell, Iman and Alec Weck. Moreover, this issue was Italian's Vogue's fastest selling ever. However, traditionally there is the impression that black doesn't sell, even though there's been profitable issues featuring black models. Let's better understand what racism is practiced as all sorts of practices and cognized, rationalized and justified by a theory. The dominant racist theory dates back to the early 19th century, grounded in religion. At the time, Christians were excluding who was not a follower of the Christian God, and this practice is best known as discrimination. Today, racism is cultural racism. The differences between humans which justify discriminatory treatments are differences in acquired characteristics in culture. The blame here lies with the fashion editors, designers and casting directors for the show. Many have suggested that the reason catwalks in magazines are so white is because designers and editors are often white, but the phrase "follow the money" is more relevant. Diversity is becoming more prominent and it will be more of a norm thanks to editors like Edward Enninful working for the British Vogue that in May will launch the first ever diverse cover featuring models of any race and size. Asian models have become more prominent with the rise of the Asian market for luxury goods, and the same with Russian models. However, the fashion industry still does not give so much space to black models or any models that do not fit in the norms. Dolce & Gabbana ultimately promoted diversity by featuring women of any size and age in their show. It was an incredible experiment that went successfully well, as the designers named it the New Renaissance. Therefore, we come from a traditional world where fashion has not been very open to diversity. In fact, the first time people saw the first black model was only in 1966. Few other models that managed to change beauty standards. Icons of diversity are Naomi Campbell, Winnie Harlow, and Halima Aden. In 1986, it is the time of Naomi Campbell to make history. She was the first black model to appear on the cover of Time magazine. Moreover, she was part of the Trinity supermodel group formed by Chrissy Turlington and Linda Evangelista. Above all, cultural integrity is something that still lacks in the fashion industry, and it is certainly a complex issue. Race relations differ from society to society. This means that race-based discrimination depends on the society and that there is a social hierarchy based on whiteness. Moreover, it is crucial to note that for models belonging to minority groups, forms of discrimination such as not being able to be selected for a fashion show arise because there is a strong competition and power relations between the ethnic majority and ethnic minority groups. Things go so monochromatic that in 2013, Bethan Hardison, a former model and modelling agency owner, and supermodels Iman and Naomi Campbell formed an organisation called Diversity Coalition to insist on runways that include women of colour. According to Bentham Hardison, ex-model and fashion activist, member and co-founder of the Diversity Coalition, states that fashion designers use only 1 or 2 models of colour. However, an improvement was made in 2014, even though there were still fashion design houses that had 0 models of colour across the fashion cities. Moreover, Hardison with the Diversity Coalition works hard and brings awareness of racism on the international runways and aims to promote diversity on the runways. Religion is another aspect related to diversity and that the fashion industry has never faced before. Last February, Muslim model Halima Aden walked the runway with her hijab. It was certainly a historical moment and an improvement in openness to diversity. Aden stated that because she wears a hijab, she doesn't get the jobs because there are some clothing pieces that would not pair well with it. On the contrary, it should be seen as a positive diversity to the fashion designer's runway. Moreover, it gives the freedom of expression to a minority group of women that never had the opportunity to speak up for themselves. Aden believes that there is value in being different and that even though the society we live in has specific stereotypes, she can perfectly cope with that. Moreover, it is breaking boundary action to promote a new kind of beauty just by being herself. Therefore, women that exhibit their religion through their clothing, like Aden, are symbols of freedom, of self-expression, which today is still a taboo. It is empowering for women to have role models like Aden that is breaking the boundaries. Also, women should feel comfortable whatever they wear, and the fashion industry should accept this new concept and encourage diversity, because the truth is that the women are all the same and that there is no perceivable diversity. Diversity is ample, and as said before, it is the case to mention a black model that is actually the symbol of diversity in fashion, and she is Chantel Winnie, known as Winnie Harlow. She suffers from vitiligo and she is seen as different. However, Winnie is a role model of self-esteem that inspires the whole world. She is certainly changing the fashion industry, making it more diverse and redefining beauty. Moreover, she did campaigns for Desigual, Swarovski and Diesel, and she has had walked the runway for Desigual at New York Fashion Week in 2015. Winnie Harlow is the face of fashion future and has great job opportunities even though she has a skin condition. However, she states that the fashion industry is opening up about diversity, but still needs to accept different beauty kinds and amplify the standards of beauty. Winnie is demonstrating that beauty comes in many forms, and social media is helping her to communicate her thoughts and missions to develop the concept of beauty. Diversity should be just a normal action to have diverse models on the runways to reflect the society in which we live in, as we do not live in a world of white people only. I want every single woman to be able to have the runway experience and have their beauty, but beyond their beauty, what they look like validated. Diverse beauty exists and it is part of our society. Has diversity finally come into a turning point, or is it just a trend?